Hi, it's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 125. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be talking today about flip falsetto vocal type and understanding your voice. So, welcome to those of you who have joined us already or waiting there in the weight room, I guess you would call it. Say hi to Jesus, number one on the list there. Nice to have you here. Jesus, Amir, official, and Nuno Silva. Hi, you guys. Nice to have you here today. So, is there anything more frustrating and maybe even more embarrassing than singing your song and you're right at the money note where everything is supposed to be fantastic and all of a sudden it cracks or it breaks or it flips right in the middle of the note? Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Cross my fingers, hopefully it never will happen to me. It hasn't happened yet, but I've seen plenty of examples on the internet. You probably have seen them too, where the person's singing, ah, and it cracks. Now, I know there's an instance where even Pavarotti was singing a song, and he'd been ill, I think, but he was there, doing his job, and he had a high, I'm not sure what the note was, like a high B or something. And sure enough, he had a little flip right in the middle of it. And he said he was booed. Believe it or not. So audiences aren't very tolerant of things like that. At least the operatic audiences. And I remember being in my area here, we have the world famous Tabernacle Choir from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they've been broadcasting for 80 years or something, and they invited a guest artist. It was a Christmas time program, I think, and a well-known bass singer, and right in the middle of one of the songs, flipped. I think he was sick. I think he had a cold, and so we can't really. There's just some instances that if your voice is sick and you're under the weather and you have to be performing or you are performing, and it happens, unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot to be done. But today we're going to talk about exactly what we can do. We're going to talk about what it is, why it's happening, and what you can do to eliminate this from ever occurring in your singing. And the only exception is that if you're sick, and the vocal cords are swollen, and everything is harder. Simply put, everything is more difficult. You virtually have to be perfect in every way, and be so very careful. And in many instances, take the lower note rather than the higher note, and those kinds of things. If you're sick, that's not our discussion today, though. Our discussion today is what do you do when you've got the tendency to have this happen, or if it happens in your voice and you just don't want it to happen again. Okay, so hello to Vicki Williams and Joe Wesson. Hi, you guys. Nice to have you here today, too. All right, let's get down to business here. I want to be in these live broadcasts, I want to get right to what we're talking about here. First of all, please tell me, have you ever had your voice crack or flip while you were singing or while you were performing? Yes or no in the comment section below. Yes, you've had a flip or a crack or a break. No, you haven't. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up if this is helpful to you today, and share it with a friend, okay? All right. Now, so the topic is the flip falsetto voice type. Flip falsetto voice type is something that occurs when we sing. So if I were to demonstrate the flip or the flip the flip while I'm singing, it would be something like this. There's a couple ways it happens. So I'm going to demonstrate both of those ways that you can get a flip, or you can like flip into or crack into a falsetto. So if I say, oh, So on the way up, or if I'm singing up, and it cracks, that's one way that it happens. Another way it happens is if you're singing, and you just let go. And that happens, and I've seen it and I've heard it. So that's another flip into falsetto. You don't hear the that kind of thing, but the reason why you don't hear it is because they bail out before it happens. Now they have to, if they do that, oftentimes it's letting go right into a falsetto because they don't want it to go so light and so heady that it doesn't sound, that it brings attention to itself. So, well, I've transitioned into falsetto. So you didn't hear the flip, but I'm into falsetto. So that's the second way it happens. It's just you let go into, you just purposely transition into falsetto. There's another flip into falsetto or crack or break, and that is you're singing along, but you reconnect it. So right in the middle someplace, it does a little crack break, and then you reestablish the connection, or a little flip, a momentary and it goes back into your mix or into the head voice and so forth. So it's possible that you get like a road bump, like there's this right in the middle of the vocal tone, right in the middle of the line is but you reestablish the tonal connection and keep going. That happens. And it's unwanted, right? Nobody wants that to happen. So the same things that cause the sudden flip and crack into falsetto, the same thing that causes this to let go into falsetto is what's behind that as well. Now, I'm not talking about maybe some stuff on the vocal cords, some phlegm or something that you encounter and it sounds like it's flipping or cracking. Now, I'm actually talking about momentary disassociation, losing the chord structure that's in place. It becomes unstable for a moment and comes back together. Okay, so that's the illustration of what is the flip falsetto. Number two now is what causes this to happen. And I think there's two things, but they're both related to the big one. It's the larynx coming up, or which, if we keep singing this way as the larynx comes up, it's going to it will cause this flip or this crack or a break into the falsetto. And the second way is you feel it coming up, and so you just switch because we don't know what to do with it. That's the let go of it. So you don't hear an actual break. You can hear a difference in the quality of the tone, but you do that because you don't know what else to do, because you know you can't keep carrying up the bottom. You can't pull up chest. And so it's not a lot of weight that you're pulling up, but you sense that there's this transition coming and the larynx starts to come up and you just switch to get out early. And you can kind of save yourself from this abrupt crack, this abrupt break or flip. And so essentially it's caused, now I'm not talking about, this is the exception of course, is if you're sick, if you're singing sick, the vocal cords are swollen and so forth. All of that aside, if you're perfectly healthy and this is happening, it's the larynx that's coming up. And so that brings us to number 3. What do we do about it? How do we, and why isn't the vocal type then pulled chest, high larynx, if that's what causes it? Well, it's not pulled chest because we're not saying, ah, we're not pulling up the bottom. So it's not pulling up the chest, but the larynx is starting to come up a little bit. So it is the sensibility of the, it's going to do it if we don't change, if we don't transition, but we just don't know how to keep that larynx down at its speech level, resting where we normally talk. And so it's a little bit different than the pulled chest, high larynx kind of vocal type. That's usually characterized by a lot of muscle, a lot of loudness, and a lot of the pulled up from the bottom kind of thing, and the larynx really, skyrocketing through the ceiling, so to speak. Whereas the flip into falsetto isn't quite the same sensibility. It's not quite the same emotional experience as the pulled chest, high larynx. A little bit of a distinction between those two, especially in how we approach it. In a way, the exercises I'm going to show you right now to how to guard against, or how to, I guess we're going to retrain the nervous system and keep that larynx down. And also, that's the one part of this. The other part of it is if you're just letting go, then we want to help you gain some confidence through that middle, through that bridge area, through the passaggio. We want you to develop the confidence to know you don't have to let go. There are ways to get through that and maintain that same tonal quality. So, how do we eliminate it? Number 1 is with an exercise called the gi. Gi, 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 gi. Now, if you put your hand here on your Adam's apple, ladies, you have to kind of trace it down here to feel that first prominence. That's the Adam's apple. Yours is much smaller, so you kind of have to press into your neck, trace it down, and feel that. If you'll put your finger there, and guys, you can find it easier, and just say, duh, a really stupid sounding duh. You should feel it move. Duh, duh, duh. It drops down. Now, if you just say duh, 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 it just sits there. But if you say duh, it drops. So we're going to use that dopey sound as a tool. It's a temporary tool to hold the larynx down during the exercise. So instead of saying duh, when you say gi, kind of a dopey gi, and say gi, 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 gi. You notice I'm keeping that imposed feeling. I'm keeping that dopey feeling on the larynx, and I'm holding it down with that dopey sound. Ladies, you would start here. Gi, 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 gi. And keep going up. Gi, 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 gi. Now, if you lose the dopey sound, it starts sounding a little bit squeezed. Gi, 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 gi. You could hear how that changed. Gi, 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 gi. You want to keep that same imposition. If you do keep it imposed like that with that dopey sound, if you don't lose that, if you lose the dopey sound, it goes, as I just demonstrated, it gets a little thin and tight. Gee, 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 gee. But if I keep it dopey, gee, and you can hear the extra space it creates by lowering the larynx. It sounds a little bit hooty or a little bit hollow. Gee, 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 gee. But we're retraining the larynx to stay down, so that the vibration can go up into our through the bridge and into our head voice, but the larynx doesn't have to go anywhere. So ladies, you would keep going. Now, if at any point you say, you know the larynx is coming up and you're losing that, because you can hear that you're losing that dopey sound. So that's retraining the larynx to stay down. Now, the guys do the same thing. Now, another exercise to work on this is to do the octave repeat exercise. It sounds like this. For the guys, it would be now, and then let me give it a little tip. Say ooh, and I'll say gee with ooh lips. Now that's in the guy's octave. That was the high A. That's where the ladies begin in their bridge. So let's take it there, ladies, and you would say C sharp now, top of the first bridge. So obviously, Joe, I think you would bridge where the guys are bridging. If I remember right, you're contralto. Any of the contraltos bridge where the guys do, E, F, F sharp. For the basso profundos and cantatas, the low bass voice, it would be the same thing, only on the A. So it'd be so we would do the same thing that the ladies are doing, an octave lower for the basso cantatas, the lower bass voice. Now, that's one way to keep the larynx down. Now, how's that translate to the song? Well, when you start practicing this, you want to do the exercises like this because it's going to inform what you do in the song. It'll begin to retrain the nervous system to create new muscle memory doing it this way. So it's a very effective way to be able to begin singing and keeping the larynx down. Now, the second strategy is, in addition to the exercise, is to take the song and just do it on a dopey gi. So if I said, I don't know what a good song would be, where they don't arrest me for doing it on live broadcast. It's getting so anymore, you can't do anything without getting a copyright strike against you. Let's just say it's Star Spangled Banner. I don't think is copyrighted. If I said well, if I were in a well, let me do it for a men's voice. That's the example of doing this. The ladies, you would, whatever key you're doing it in, but if you were up here on the C, D flat, E flat, so you want to do it with a dopey sound, dopey gi, and then translate that then to and the rock, and then do it a little bit dopey. And the rock. Let me see. I'm not going to try that. And the rock is red glare. So you want to try and translate that exercise into an exercise with using the words. And the rock, gee, 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 and the rocket's red glare, and the rocket's red. So you can hear the larynx coming up. And the rocket's red glare. So you want to be able to keep the sensibility of that larynx down while you're practicing the song. And then you get more and more normal. And the rocket's red glare. So that it doesn't, you're not singing a dopey, because we don't talk that way. You don't want to sing that way. But you come from the position of keeping the larynx down and then gradually go more and more normal. All right, that's step number one. Step number two is, suppose you are the flip falsetto type that just lets go. So as I demonstrated, it's just you bail out before you have to face it. Well, we want you to develop some confidence there, to know that you can get through there and not have to let go into falsetto or flip into falsetto or risk the possibility of cracking. So you can use this gee 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 and it will be very effective. Another way of doing it is nay 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 nay, just a little bit of that funny nay nay nay. Nay 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 Now I'm all the way through the bridge. If I'm the guys, if I'm singing, if I'm one of the in the girls register, in the girls keys, and you're bridging at the beginning at the A above middle C. Here's from D to A. A little bit of a funny nay nay nay. Nay 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 nay. So the nay 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 works great to build the confidence that you don't have to let go of it in that bridge area. Okay, so you can do the same thing on the octave repeat exercise. Nay, nay, ladies, nay, 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 nay. And by doing this exercise through the bridge, this is the high C. Nay, 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 B, nay, 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 B flat, nay, 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 A, nay, 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 nay. And you start building your confidence that, wow, I can sing those notes without letting go into falsetto. And so it's a great way to build the confidence. Guides the same exact thing. You would start at the A flat. Nay, 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 G. F flat, F sharp, nay, 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 F, nay, 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 E, nay, 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 nay. So there's two very, very powerful exercises. The dopey gi, going more and more towards normal gi, and the nay, 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 start out a little bit funny. Take it a little bit more normal as you get more and more secure in it. Nay, 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 nay. So you want to get to normal as soon as you can, because we don't talk that way. Why would you want to sing that way? Or we don't talk like that. So we want to get it to our normal speaking voice, but with now a retrained larynx, new muscle memory. The larynx is staying down, begins to get the feel and understanding that it doesn't have to go up to help us there. We can do it without the larynx rising, and that leads to no flips, no cracks, no breaks. We can eliminate that altogether. So all of these exercises that I've shown you with the different scales truly help to retrain the nervous system, because we get into these habits of singing early before we know what to do. and they work, some of them, but unfortunately also cause the tone to crack or break, and so we're limited a little bit in the strength of our voice or in the agility of the voice. We're frightened by the middle. We're frightened by the higher notes, and so we want to deal with the issue. The issue being keeping the larynx down, or in the case of letting go, of just building the confidence that you can go through that without having just to let go of the tone. Okay, so all right, so those are the three things. We've talked about what flip falsetto is. We've talked about what causes it to happen, was the rising larynx, and number three, a couple exercises to address how you take care of it. Now, just to wrap this up, and then I'll go back and answer questions. So I see we've got a bunch of questions going here. There are a lot of exercises that are available for the vocal type flip, the voice type, voice or vocal type flip falsetto. And so I've prepared a PDF. It just says, get your vocal type. It's in the description below this video, and I'll try and put a card up in the left corner here, my left, your right, and I'll link it to Get Your Vocal Type PDF. Download the PDF. It's got links to the vocal test. If you don't know your vocal type, you can find out by taking the test. It will give you a link to each of the vocal types. Flip falsetto in this case is one of the four, and there are videos about the flip falsetto. Yeah, I had to, it's really interesting. I had a mashup of different examples of flip falsetto, but with the new regulations the new laws passed in Europe, I've gotten probably 8 to 10 copyright strikes now, that they're going to ban some of those videos all over the world, because I show examples of Katy Perry flipping, or Sarah McLachlan, flipping into falsetto, other examples of singers flipping in the falsetto and cracking and breaking. And because I've got that mashup there, they want to pull it. I'm fighting it. I've written back and said this is educational, and the mashup is to help everybody understand what it sounds like, what it is, and actually see examples of it. But sometimes they just don't care, and then the video will be banned worldwide. I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case, but if you go there and look at one of the videos and it says this has been removed, or you'll know why. So download the PDF. It will save you lots of time. What they won't be able to prevent is you can download free exercises for the flip falsetto vocal type, as well as pulled chest, high larynx, light chest, no chest, and mixed vocal types. So, and this PDF will just save you time. It'll take you right to the links that you can get these. All right. Thanks, you guys. That's getting down to business. I covered it all in less than 30 minutes, but I want to address your questions here, okay? So, we have Almir Official says, hi, me again. Did I miss somebody? Okay. Last time I said I have a nodule on my left cord. Now I have two questions. If I don't speak at all, can I get my voice again? What did the doctor say, Elmer? Let me know, please. What are they telling you? Is it good to do some voice therapy exercises if I have a nodule? Is it a soft nodule or is it a hard nodule? Nuno says, hi, Nuno, nice to have you here. I am flip falsetto. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you today. Nuno, let me know if you've got, I'll check and see later if you have some questions. Vicki Williams, hello Vicki. Great to have you here today. And Joe, as always, great to see you. And very nice to have you here. Omer Kozig, hey, vocal Freud. Freud. Shadi, hi, nice to have you here today. Um, just two questions at the top, please. Um, so Nuno says I'm flip falsetto, but I kind of can control it. But yes, it already has happened to him or to Nuno, or her. Sorry, Nuno, I'm not sure which. I'm thinking you're a guy, but I can control it. Vicky Williams says, "Oh yes, he's had that." Nuno says he's learned that with my videos. Awesome. So, Darko Five Bones. I'm so happy to find my mixed voice with straw exercise. Now I need to work on my belting mixed voice. Give me some advice. What do you mean by belting, Darko Five Bones? There's a lot of different definitions of belting. I don't teach belt per se. I teach mix, and so how to blend the chest and the head voice, and it can be very, very powerful. And a lot of people think it's belting, but it's not. So I'm not sure exactly how you're defining belt. Some people just define it differently. Okay, so Ink says, Chuck, I can get above the passaggio with the mum exercise and it's connected, but I've been doing it for 2 weeks. And it's still at the same closure volume. How do I make it grow? Give it another 2 months, Ink. Keep after it every day. It's going to get better. If you told me that you're training for the marathon and you've been working on it for two weeks, I would say give another couple months. Two Chooks. Highest. Nice to have you here, Two Chooks. Thanks, Vicky. I hope that you find that to be a helpful exercise. And remember, we can always take the exercises and put them into the song and use it for the same benefit of the nay, 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 the dopey key. Any of the exercises that we do can be inserted right into the song, replace the words, and then go back and do the words. I got a video coming out this Friday, in fact, that shows an example of using the nay, nay, nay. It should be really helpful. Two Chooks says, when I sing falsetto, I sound like a dying cat. Huh. Don't sing falsetto, Two Chooks, whatever you do. Nuno says, Two Chooks. Yeah, that is normal. When men use falsetto, it kind of sounds like we have a feminine voice. Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. I call it my Minnie Mouse voice. Either Mickey or Minnie, either one. There's just no depth in it, right? If I can go lower, if I can take it down to here, but that's about it. Ladies, you got it easier. Sometimes people can't tell when you're singing high notes, at least, that you're in falsetto. But, of course, you don't need to be in falsetto, and that's the great thing about this head voice stuff. Two Chooks says, I flipped from soprano to almost baritone. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. That's what happens to us guys. Copyright thing is big. It is big. It's going to change, Vicky, the way creators on YouTube do things. And, there's something called fair use, which is law in the United States. I don't know that it's going to fly in Europe, and if it doesn't, then many of my videos are going to be contested because I've insert examples in the videos from singers online. So I think it's a very sad thing. Nuno says, I'm countertenor. Oh, okay. So I'm a guy. Sorry, Nuno. You keep saying I'm a woman. I'm sorry. Nuno, I just don't know anybody named Nuno, and so I don't know. And sometimes I get really confused. Two Chooks, I said I'm female. Oh, you guys are chatting together here. Okay. So yeah, Nuno's talking to me because I called him a girl. Anna Mancini, how do I get vibrato? Anna, great question. Let me refer you to powertosing.com and go to playlists. And in the playlists, I've got one there that's like 4 videos on vibrato. That will help you. There's a lot of information there. But let's talk about that for a second. Let me just have you. Let me just give you a really. What has to happen is the vocal cords need to feel what vibrato feels like, and it will start to memorize that feeling, and they'll start doing it. So one of the real fast ways of doing this is to say, ah, just shake your hands in front of you. Ah, and stop shaking, but keep the vibrato feeling going. See if you can try that. That's a really fast, easy way, and you can keep working that in almost in your songs that you're singing. You know, you could be singing along, and let's just say you're again singing your anthem, national anthem, wherever you're from. In the States, it would be, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? So you can start working that into your singing just by moving your hands. Now, that's what's going to happen is the vocal cords start feeling that, and then you'll be surprised sometime. You'll be able to continue it without shaking your hands, and that's the beginning of the memorization process. You want to hold it out long enough that the vocal cords can start to deal with it, start to practice it, okay? So that's one very fast way of just inducing the vibrato. And so, Anna, you do have to manufacture it. You do have to make it happen. I didn't have vibrato either until about 21, 22 years ago. I was told that if you weren't born with it, you don't have it. And I believed that for 43 years. And then I found out it wasn't true. And I learned to do vibrato. For 43, 44 years, I sang with a straight tone, no vibrato. And it makes me feel sad that I did that. But I don't have to do it anymore. Vicky, Friday, okay, good. Yeah. So Nuno says it's sad to be a countertenor because I sound like a girl. Well, Nuno, gosh, there's some amazing singers on YouTube that I've seen recently that have these amazing, those, you know, they're countertenors, and they sing pop, and so, you know, here's the deal: we all have to embrace our voices. There's nothing to do about it. And so you want to maximize what you've got, because then you really find that you have you can do some things, you know. For many, many years, I didn't like my voice. Or I'd have a voice lesson, I'd put the cassette tape in. Does anybody know what cassette tapes are? I'd listen to it in my car right after I got out of my lesson. I'd be so excited, and I'd turn it on and listen to that. Oh my gosh, I thought I sounded so much better than that. But it takes a while. It took a while for me to get my voice worked out, and so, but we want to embrace our voices, and I have. Now here's the other thing, you know, not everybody's going to like your voice, and I take this as here's my philosophy. I do musical theater, and in the theater where I do shows, we've got about 520 seats, okay? It's beautiful theater. And on any given night, I would say that maybe 20% of the people there, when they read the program and they find out that I'm going to be Alfred P. Doolittle in My Fair Lady this summer. And they look at it and say, oh, fantastic, I know him, I know his voice, and I'm excited to be here. Another 20% are going to say, oh yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I've seen him before. Pretty decent. Another 100 are going to say, who's Chuck Gilmore? I have no idea who he is. Another 100 are going to say, you know, I would maybe like to see the other guy. And then the last 100 are going to say, oh my gosh, I think we ought to leave. I don't like his voice at all. that is life. There's only a small percentage that are going to really, really like my voice. You look at Lady Gaga, who's got, I don't know, 120 million Twitter followers or something. But in terms of 7 billion people, that's a pretty small percentage of people who like her voice enough to follow her on Twitter, right? So we don't need a lot of people to make a living singing, if that's what you want to do. But I don't like everybody's voice. Do you? Do you like everybody's voice that you hear? No, we all have our preferences, our choices. So I've accepted that. I know there's some people that are going to say, I love your voice. And that's all I need. Just a couple. Then my night I'm happy. And that's happened. But I would never in a million years believe that all 520 people thought that. It's just not life. That's not what we do. We have our preferences. And so embrace what you have, because there's going to be somebody who loves that voice. Marion, I'm looking at the notes or on the comments here. That's why I'm looking there. Hi. With nay, like you do it, the larynx rises, doesn't it? Yes, Marion, it's a slightly elevated larynx, but it's not as high as a pulled chest and high larynx. It is off the level of speech level. And that's why it's a temporary tool. Just like the dopey gi is a temporary. We're pushing it down. We're raising that larynx up with the witchy nay. Get to normal as soon as you can. Yeah, temporary tool. Tuchuk says, I actually do the nay nay to the na na to the nay nay. Yeah, na 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 to nay 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 is fine. Nay 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 to na 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 is a great exercise too. Nuno says, I can reach super high notes, but I sound like a woman. You know, embrace it. You know, you could make millions of dollars with that voice. Theodore, how can I do the nay nay exercise without flipping? I think it's pretty hard because my range is limited. So Theodore, good question. Don't do it so loud. Don't do it as loud as I did it. Do it light. If I said, nay, 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 that's plenty loud. And I've got a microphone sitting right here. So, I pick up quite a bit of sound with this. Don't do it as loud as you're hearing. Nay, 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 nay. Just loud enough to be connected. You don't want to be in falsetto while you do the nay, nay, nay. So take the volume down, and you're going to find that it'll stay connected. If it keeps flipping, do the dopey gi. Gi, 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 gi. Theodore, also I've found that my teenage boys, it's tough. They don't know how old you are, but 14, 15, 16, 17, it's tough for the guys, for the boys. So I just try and find anything that will work for them because they're going through vocal change. Their vocal cords are getting fat, thick, long, and, it's insane during that period of our lives for us guys. Okay. Akshay, someone says, welcome. You're here somewhere. Nice to have you here. Vicky says, it's amazing how singers listen, heed so well, but also liking your own voice got easier once I sang better. I noticed. Yeah, it's true, Vicky. That's a good point. And so, Nuno, as you get better and better, you start embracing and liking your voice. But I think you've got to approach it with the idea that someday you're going to like it and not be regretting your voice all the time. Thank you. You're great. Your voice is spot on. Thanks, Anna. Morbid Productions. I've improved so much because of you. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Morbid. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Um, I agree with Anna. Vicky says, oh, thank you. You guys, very kind. Morbid says, how do you strengthen your falsetto and sing louder with it? I lose my falsetto warming after warming up my voice. I can only sing normally without falsetto. But without warming up, I can do falsetto very well. So Morbid, I'd have to hear what you're doing. The way I define falsetto is a disconnected tone. It's a disconnected tone. So if I said, oh, that's falsetto, oh, and you can hear I was disconnected because I had to reconnect into chest. Head voice, rather, then, is a connected tone. It's a connected tone. So I don't have to worry. It'll blend into my chest. So I hope what you're asking is, how do I strengthen my head voice? Because I'm trying to eliminate falsetto. We don't want to have to rely on falsetto. So that's head voice. No break. So how do you strengthen your head voice? First thing you have to do is learn to bridge. You have to be able to go through E, F, F sharp without it disconnecting, without pulling, without going exceptionally light, or without flipping or cracking or breaking. So I recommend that you go to that PDF. Make sure you get my vocal type, take the vocal test, and then do the exercises for your vocal type, whatever that is, because that's going to help you stay connected into head voice. And that's going to help you stay connected into head voice. I've got a gentleman that I'm going to be teaching on Skype at 3 o'clock giving me a message. So, hi, Christopher. Okay, so get the exercises for your vocal type and start working on those. It includes the nay, nay, nays, the gee, gee, gees, and many others that will help you bridge. You want to be able to bridge or transition from chest through the middle area, called the bridge, up into head voice with a connected tone. And as you do that, that's how you start strengthening your head voice. That's how you start building power into your head voice. It's a long answer to a short question. Theodore, you're 17. Theodore, be patient. It will come. You have to work extra hard. My friend. You've got to work extra hard. Good. Yeah, yay, the gigi exercise works fine. I've found that to be the case many times. For a teen boy, if the nay-nay doesn't take, a lot of times the gee will. Another one you might want to try, Theodore, is goo goo goo. Keep it a little bit dopey. Goo 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 goo. And do it quieter. Goo 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 goo. That's head voice. It's light head voice, and us guys don't like it too well. It doesn't feel very fulfilling. Feels like falsetto, but that's head voice, and that's what you want to start working, is going through that middle area there. Theodore, if you can do it without flipping, try the goo 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 as well as the gee gee. Isva Sanaru. Hi, nice to have you here today. Isaiva or Isaiva? I don't know exactly how to pronounce your name. I think it's really cool. How do you find your falsetto head voice if you can't even make any sound above chest voice? Yeah, that's the challenge, right? That's what I did. I couldn't I wouldn't make any sound above the E, above middle C. I'd stop because I knew I would crack, or I would have to keep yelling. You know, it was just awful. I wouldn't do it. And so essentially all I could do is yell, and that's not really making the sound. So as these exercises we did today, again, depending on, like Theodore is 17, so he's got it tougher than all the rest of us. But it works. Bring the size of chest voice way down. That'll make it a lot easier. Go very light with that chest, and you'll find the top will start to come in. Do it with the gee and the nay, nay, nay. Nay, 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 or goo, 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 goo. Oh my gosh. He's excited. We don't start for another 9 minutes. Okay. So, Ziva and Sanaru, bring the volume down. Do it softer. Do all these exercises. Again, do the exercises for your vocal type. And it was an inadvertent call. So, bring the volume down on your chest. Bring the volume down on how loud you're doing the exercises, and see if the middle and the upper doesn't start to open up. Notice says, when you're getting higher, just let go and let some air through. Yeah, so oftentimes when we're first starting this, we get squeezed tight, tighter, tighter, tighter. When just the opposite is what has to happen. Another great one is so that was the high B, and or the B4. And so the bubble lip is an awesome exercise also. That's available in those exercises for your vocal type. So get that PDF and get going on it. There is life after the E above middle C. And it's wonderful. Okay, so Morbid Productions says, okay, I understand now. Yeah, head voice, thank you. Good, thanks, Morbid. You know, sometimes this is definitions, but they do make a difference. Yeah, so Nuno, so Asiva, I'm not sure how to say it. Asiva says there's no air. No, there's just air, no sound. That's because the larynx is going up. You're going into swallowing mode. Put your hand on your larynx and swallow, and it goes up. That's the muscles pulling everything up. And it cuts everything, it cuts the sound right out. You cannot make a sound if the larynx is very high. So you got to keep that larynx down. So do the exercises for your vocal type. Do them soft. Don't and back off on chest. Okay, so I got just about 2 or 3 minutes here. Bye for now. Oh, thanks, Vicky. So helpful. Along with the other side. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today. Theodore said, yes, I have the PDF downloaded. Awesome. I've been doing the exercises for a while. Great. Vicky says addictive, isn't it? Cool. Joe says, you're helping me to discover new things all the time, Chuck. I've had a bit of a sore throat and cough for almost a week. When I'm back to normal, I'll look into a lesson with you. Awesome. Hope you get to feeling better, Joe. It's frustrating, isn't it, to be sick? Asiva, thank you for joining us today. Be sure and subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up and all that stuff. Akshay, you retracted your message. So Morbid says, all of this is so helpful. I don't even have to ask questions. You've already answered them. Awesome. Okay, Akshay, there you are. Why do I flip into falsetto? It's because the larynx is coming up, Akshay. The larynx is coming higher and higher, and when it does, it cracks. Don't know why, but that's what happens. Is it a bad thing? It's bad if you don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want a crack or a break in my voice. If yes, how do you stop it? P.S. Sorry if some of these questions are repeating. I'm late and missed the beginning. Akshay, I got to run because I got a lesson here in 5 minutes. But this whole video is exactly what you're asking me about, okay? So be sure and just it'll be up and ready to go in about 5 or 10 minutes. And then be sure and catch it. Theodore says, can I ask one more thing? When I sing high notes, for me, that's D4. Yep, that was me too. Theodore, 17, man, that's the top. Feels like the top. Feels like the end of the voice, doesn't it? It's like there's no air is passing through my nose. Yeah, it's just, again, the larynx coming up, everything kind of squeezing down. Bring the loudness down. Bring your volume down. Do these exercises today. Start it out really, really light. Nay. Nay, 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 nay. Oh, you like the geese too. The geese work for you. Gee, 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 gee. Concentrate on how letting that go towards the hooty sound. Gee, 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 gee. And you can sit into that, or you can kind of lean into that hooty sound. Gee, gee. But don't get loud, especially at the beginning. And for a while, just bring all the loudness, all the volume down, and you're going to find it to be easier. Theodore. She said you weren't straining. You might not be straining, but you're going into swallowing mode. The larynx is coming up. And if my larynx comes up, it just cuts right off. I can't get any air in and out. And so trust me on that. Okay, thanks you guys. I got to run, and love you all. Thanks for joining me today. This is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 125. And remember, you can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next one. Thanks, and take care.